Boom. All right. So we are live. This is going to be episode 138 of the CWG podcast, Chat with Gunner. And we're going a little bit different direction today, other than going logistics and all sales or athletes or stuff like that. Ran across this guy on my LinkedIn profile. He's commented on some things. I've followed his stuff. And at the same time, I can tell he's kind of branding himself. He's created a gimmick in a way that we talk about on my channel. He goes by the Content Yoda. He's a content marketer, and his name is Jared DeVault. What's up, man? How are you?
Man, living the dream, Gunner. Glad to be on your show.
Hey, man, thanks for coming on. And the funny thing, I love this about LinkedIn and stuff is the fact that we can go from a comment to having like an actual conversation in person, no matter where you're at in the world. So, where are you at? Are you in Nashville?
I am. Nashville, Tennessee, born and raised.
I gotcha. Okay. So now did you go to UTC?
I did not. I've got a lot of friends that have gone to UTC. And actually, I used to work for a digital marketing agency that the media company that owned them actually owned the Times Free. They own the Times Free Press. So very familiar. Spent a lot of time in Chattanooga and love the city. And for us, it's as a family, we love to scoot down there, and it's only like a 2-hour drive for us. And there's so much to do down there.
Yeah. So are you South Nashville? Or where are you at?
Yeah, I'm south of town, but still within Nashville. But yeah, it's much easier. But I grew up north of Nashville in a place called Springfield, Tennessee.
I gotcha. Okay. Well, hey, man, what is it exactly that you do? So kind of explain to everybody what it is you're doing, what your skill set is, and why you talk about certain things on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so I'd say the where I've come to where I'm at now, it all starts with like a focus on entrepreneurship. And when I got started down my journey, I could go really far back, but I've always had a passion for creativity and really creative writing, and but like when I really like started in sales. Like I've done everything from selling Kirby vacuums door to door, cold calling in real estate. And then while in real estate, I had the opportunity to work for a startup, and we grew that from 0 to 15 million in revenue. And I was the director of operations. I was managing our sales team, which was distributed across the country. You know, managing all of our systems, managing people, and working directly with the owners. These were serial entrepreneur owners, and they would constantly start new businesses. And with like my IT smarts, I really started to gravitate towards digital marketing. So every website that they would spin up for a new business that they would get into, I would build the website. I would write all the content. I would write all the copy. And that's when I really started to learn about SEO. Well, when my runway with this startup started to, I started to think about, okay, what's my next trajectory? I really wanted to get into digital marketing. I was even thinking about starting my own agency, but I didn't know jack shit about digital marketing. So what I did, I reached out to a good friend of mine. He actually lives in Chattanooga. His name's Spencer Bradshaw, very close family friend of mine. And I asked him, like, hey, I know you work at an agency. Would y'all be interested in supporting me if I get clients on that I can't handle? And he said, well, actually, man, like with your background, I think you'd be perfect for helping us open our Nashville office that's going to open in a month from now. So that's how I started working with that agency and really just started to dive into digital marketing, mostly with like websites, optimization for Google with SEO, and running paid media campaigns. And a lot of it was focused on lead generation for home service contractors and law firms. So worked really well for that company. I was a top consultant with them across 8 offices, went around, trained people how to consult and how to sell digital marketing services. And then at that point, uh, during the beginning phases of COVID, left the digital marketing agency, had it planned for 6 months. And then like I put in my notice on Friday the 13th in March when the governor of Tennessee told everybody to go home, and started freelancing at that point, and just did a lot of freelance work. And the owner of the agency that I'm at now, we actually leased space from them here in Nashville. So I'd gotten to know him over the 3.5 years I was at that agency, and then opportunity came up when we got reconnected, and he asked me to come on board and really help with consulting with clients on SEO, content, and working a lot with revenue operations within HubSpot. So that's how I'm here now. Content marketing is a big part of what I do. Even when I was freelancing, I was doing copywriting, doing content writing, and coaching others on how to build a part-time content writing business using sites like Upwork and using AI to help with writing some of that content. So, while at that agency, I learned really quickly about, just dive deep into SEO, how to write website content, how to write blog content, how to generate a content strategy, and all those strategies to help you build authority and rank with Google and get that organic traffic.
So, what is probably the most common thing that the average person doesn't understand, like me, about SEO, how important it is, how important your Google optimization is, and just, I guess, your copy when it comes to putting things out there and doing your marketing or posting or whatever you would call it? Like, what does the most common person not understand about it?
Oh man, I would say the biggest thing that most people don't understand, and even like marketers don't understand, because let me paint a picture for you. Most of your marketers went to school and they got a college degree and they wrote a shit ton of English papers. And so they think that whenever they write something online, that they're writing something for their college professor. No, you need to write on a 5th grade level. You need to speak directly to the specific problems that your prospects and your audience has, and you need to paint a picture for how to solve those problems. So, there's a lot of things that when you're writing content for your website, you're going to violate a lot of the rules and things that you would get bad marks for in school. That you're going to be using double negatives. You're going to be, again, you're writing on a 5th grade level. You're not using advanced terms when you're writing, because like most of what you're doing with SEO, like people can get all confused over algorithms and optimization and coding, and really it's all about, like, Google at the end of the day wants to provide solutions to people that are searching for them. So like people get hung up on, oh, I got to buy this tool, I got to get this AI, I gotta like hire a content writer. It's like, shit, like set up a Google Ads account, use the free keyword planner, and get a feel for, like, it'll tell you, it'll say like this keyword, like say if like your keyword is, like, for you it's logistics, and there's many different terms that go along with that, but like look at what people are actually searching for, the questions that they're asking, and then try to answer it the best way you can. I wouldn't worry about like, oh, I need to fit all my keywords in, and I need to get this right type of keyword density. It's like, no, it's like you figure out what are people asking, what are the terms that they're actually saying, what's the language that they're saying, speak that language to them and answer that question or solve that problem that they're working through in their head. And that's how you're going to get content that's going to resonate with them. And at the end of the day, That is the biggest driver in Google's algorithm, is how people interact with your content, how long they stay on your website, and you know how much they're sharing your content. All those things come into play. I mean, that's the big thing. So you can get into all these advanced tools, and you know, like I use some of these tools, but like I'll tell you, like, you know, if it comes to using a tool for like patching a hole in the drywall, like you can buy a whole bunch of fancy freaking tools to do that. But like, man, like you need sanding paper and spackle and a little plastic blade, and like you can patch a hole in the wall. And it can look really good if you know how to use that tool. So it's not so much like what tools you use, but like how you use them. So again, it's all about answering the questions that your audience has and solving problems for them. And if you do that, Google's going to reward you with more traffic.
It makes sense. And from everything that I've read and everything that I've listened to, especially on YouTube, because that's where I get my knowledge when it comes to this stuff, right? Probably the guy that I follow the most, and I don't know if you follow him or not, you might, Alex Ramosi. Do you follow his stuff?
Love his stuff. His book, $100 Million Offers. That was I loved that book.
Yeah. So right now, like I got a fan crush on him right now as far as it goes in business and stuff because he just literally he just tells you the answers and it's free. I don't understand. Like nobody is giving out better information than him currently on the internet for free. Him and his wife. But regardless, so I love his stuff, and that's what he says. He says, you know, talk on a third grade level, speak to the problem, get to the point quick. You know, solve the problem as quick as possible. Like that's your hook. That's your offer. And he's like, if you just give this stuff away, they're going to come back to you and they're going to ask you for help and others because they're going to trust you at this point. You're going to build rapport with trust because you're just giving them the answer immediately. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. I know that, you know, obviously the more you create, the more content you create, the better. Obviously, if you just create it, and I mean, there's the Gary Vee method, right? You create a bunch of content. I've tried it, and then you just kind of throw it to the wall and see what sticks. But I think the reason you do that, and the reason he has you do that, is because he wants you to do a bunch of content to figure out what works, and then go all in on what works. And I've started to find the little things that work, and I can see it with impressions and stuff. And the most simplest way for me to generate inbound leads, and this sounds stupid, but is with polls on LinkedIn. With polls on LinkedIn, I can ask a question that has nothing to do with freight, and people that ship freight that would go to my profile and skip over it have some type of emotional connection to one of these choices, click it, and now I have an inbound lead because now I have this person interacting with my profile. I can go to them in the messages and say, hey, thanks for participating in the poll. I also don't like ham and cheese sandwiches or whatever it is. And then boom, and then you've started a conversation. I've done it time over time again. And literally within the last week, we've generated over 40 inbound leads from polls about nothing related to our industry. So we've answered the question of how, like, what's the one thing most common person doesn't understand about SEO? And you kind of went with it's overcomplicated. Like they overcomplicate everything. So how would you teach someone to increase their SEO, increase their copy, and increase their websites in a few minutes? Like, what's one tip you would give them right now if they have nothing? Their LinkedIn profile is zero. What's one tip you would give them right now to get some content, to get some followers, to be able to get out there a little bit and build their brand?
So my one advice, and this is well, really, I would say it's kind of two part. But first thing I would do is pick a topic, and you know, it's really great if it's a topic that you're a SME or subject matter expert on, and just sit down and write as much information as you can on a piece of paper, whether it's a Google Doc or you're actually like, I'm old school. Like I write some of my stuff, and this is pencil. Like I write this stuff down, you know, because as I'm thinking more about my craft and how to teach it, I am just trying to write as much stuff down. So to go along with what Gary Vee said, yeah, like sometimes you do just have to put all the information down on paper. And like I know some people are like, well, what if I get writer's block? And no. So like with writer's block, the only way you fix writer's block is to write. So if you're really having trouble, like you can fix your writer's block by just going to Google, searching for a topic that you are an expert on, you want to be an expert on, or that you know about, and look up something and then start writing it. Whether you're like you've got it open up on one screen and then you've got your document up, or you're looking at it on your screen and you've got your pen and paper right here, you write or type and just start doing it. And the act of writing will get you into thinking about it and just get your ideas on paper. And that's what I teach a lot of people in, I'm going to be formulating a course on this called the content, like I'm working the name, but like the content chop shop is like the first thing I'm thinking about.
Content Jedi. I mean, is it not Content Jedi created by the Content Yoda? I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, but the method is that you chop up your content. So you write as much as you can, and you continue to write on a subject. And as you write, you're starting to put your ideas on paper, and they will start to come to fruition. I'm a very like the way I learn is I have to get in and do. Like when I learned WordPress, I freaking Googled everything I needed to know, and then I just went into WordPress and I just started doing it. I started adding plugins, and I started like how to do this and how to do this, and going to reading articles and watching videos on YouTube, and taking different courses and courses that are free, by the way, so like courses you don't have to pay for, and learning about SEO. But like the more you write and the more you like get this information and collect it online and take notes on it, the more you will start to like make connections on your own. And then that's how you become an expert, to where you can start to have opinions on things. But as you're collecting this data and putting it all together and consuming it, you're going to get inspiration, and you're going to start making connections, and then you'll be able to go in and start to think, okay, well, now how can I segment this for social, or for how can I turn this into a YouTube video, or how can I make what are the most complex concepts that I can, get someone to form into a graphic to where I can easily communicate it to someone.
So who's your favorite people to study? Obviously, the way you talk, I know that you model other people and you like to watch other people, and you do research. I'm very similar. So who do you like to study when it comes to this type of stuff?
So Alex Formosi, great guy. Gary Vee, he's freaking amazing at what he does. Like the guy just cares so much, and like to go along with what they said, and one thing you pointed out is like the whole part of being an expert in selling something is you need to figure out, how can I give away as much shit as possible without breaking the bank? Like, how can I give away information, help? How can I do that so much that people are just drawn to you? And I feel like those guys really hit the nail on the head. Another guy that I follow that I just love everything he puts out, and he's actually a Nashville guy, Justin Welsh. So if you don't follow Justin Welsh, man, like some of the stuff that he said, because he came from like a corporate background where things were so like strict and regimented, and like you got a lot of flack for stuff that you posted on social media. And like some of the stuff that he puts out where it teaches you, he's one of those guys where it's simplicity really hits. Like you don't need to have this WordPress site. You don't need to have, these tools. Like he said, go get this free platform, create a course on doing one thing, record some videos on it, and sell it for $150 or sell it for $10 a month. And if you get $10, if you get 1,000 people to be interested in this one thing and pay you $10 a month, that's a $10,000 per month business. Like that's $10,000 per month. That's nothing. I mean, for most people in this world, 10,000 to go from where they're at now to $10,000 per month is life changing money. So he is great at that, and he's built way more than $10,000 per month in monthly recurring. But he puts out great content on LinkedIn. He's extremely transparent about his past struggles and his current struggles, and shows you like, hey, this is how I'm working through it. This is how I helped my wife set up her business, and how she set up her courses, and like just breaks things down for you. So between those three guys, those are probably the biggest ones that show up in my LinkedIn feed. More so Justin Welsh and Alex Formosi. Those are the main ones. And then if I were
So
ever going to recommend a course to someone that is 100% free, doesn't cost you a damn dime, SEMrush. It's a tool that you can actually use. You can have
what is it?
limited use. SEM.
Okay.
So Sierra Echo Mike
Mm-hmm.
Rush, RUSH.
Okay.
So they have SEMrush Academy, completely free. You get a certification. You can post on your LinkedIn profile. You could probably see one on mine with that certification. But all their courses, very well produced, great content. It's accurate. They dumb this shit down to where it's like drinking a milkshake. I mean, come on. It's, that's the type of content that like you don't need to have someone that's like boring you to death on SEO and how to do analytics and all that. But they really break stuff down to where it's easy to consume. And so if anybody's looking to really build up their smarts when it comes to SEO and content, I mean, they even get into like paid search as well, but SEO and content specifically, those courses are awesome. And they're free. Like, you can't beat that.
Can't beat free. Can't beat good and free, man. I'm telling you.
That's
Alex
right.
Rosie, he gives out good stuff, and if this SEMrush gives out good stuff, and then I just follow Justin Welsh. This man's got 250,000 followers on LinkedIn. That's a lot, man. I don't know much about this guy, but I'm about to dive into him a little bit because I already like what he's doing. Um, so right now, how can people work with you, Jared? What can they do to reach out to you if they need some help? Like, what exactly can you help somebody with right now?
So, one of the things that I've recently done, um, and this is a free offer. Anyone who's watching the podcast, if they want to reach out to me, if you've just got laid off or you're really struggling financially, I've helped a lot of people get started on Upwork. And the great thing about Upwork is, you know, a lot of side hustles that are out there, especially if you're creative, like nobody wants to sit in their car and deliver Uber Eats or do anything like that. Getting started writing content on Upwork, you could you can make money like this weekend doing it. And there's a lot of projects for entry level stuff. So and I've helped, especially like here locally. There's been a lot of layoffs with big companies like Asurion, Shopify just laid off 1,000 people. So anybody who's lost their job, I've been helping them, like walking them through how to get their profile set up, like things that they need to be aware of, how not to get scammed on Upwork, and just how to get started on there as quickly as possible and write content. Um, that's something I've helped with. But if somebody is really struggling with, they've got some of the other aspects of their digital marketing set, but they're really just not sure, how should I set up my content strategy? They can reach out to me through my LinkedIn profile, or the agency I work for, Snapshot Interactive. I consult many businesses, whether they be small to medium-sized companies, and we even work with, like right now, I'm working on content projects for companies like Emerson, LKQ, and even some companies like Lee Company as well, with handling their content strategy. So for the most part, I've got a lot of experience with healthcare, finance, and industrial and the service industry. So those are the type of clients we really shine for. But we do have many different industries that we work with. But yeah, we can help them with developing the content strategy, and then giving them the strategy and then saying, here you go take off. Or we can just handle the whole thing with white glove service and make sure that everything gets executed flawlessly. So and that's whether it's something that we like, blogs, helping them generate evergreen content, video content, graphics. We help with every aspect of, and even creating their own podcast.
Well, awesome. That's really cool. Well, hey, I got before you go, let's talk about this real quick. So I don't know if it was over the weekend, maybe it was on Friday. I posted a meme, and on Friday on the meme it was the in non-competes, in non-solicits. I was just playing off of the John Daly Tiger Woods meme, right?
Right.
Well, it grabbed a lot of attention in our industry, especially in Chattanooga, which is kind of what that was geared towards. You and Andy Ellington got into it a little bit. Andy's president of a company in town. I know Andy, but I need to get him on the show too, because me and him got to hash that out too about this whole non-solicit thing. But you're kind of on my side about the whole in non-solicits, and you're very passionate about it. So has something happened there to where that's why you're passionate about it? Or is it just you just kind of see the writing on the wall and you just kind of agree with me and a couple others?
Well, I would have to say that as someone who is a firm believer in capitalism, and almost could say I'm like leaning more towards libertarian ideals. Like, I'm not a fan of restrictive covenants, and I feel like if you create an environment where customers love you and your employees love you, then those pieces of paper are just toilet paper, in my opinion. Like that's it. Like, you shouldn't have to restrict people to work for your agency or work for your logistics company or whatever by saying, oh, well, if you leave, then you're screwed. Like, you can't do anything for 12 months. Screw you. Like, you shouldn't have a toxic work environment where people want to leave. And and he got super heated about, well, you're obviously not a business owner. I'm like, no, my aspect as from a leader, I have coached people in companies to leave, and those people were great. Those people, like, it sucked when they left. It made it to where I had to do double the work when they left. But the opportunity that was in front of them was much better. I couldn't match it, and they needed to leave, because I'm a firm believer that as a leader, if you do what's best for someone, that's going to come back to you, whether it's 2 months from now or whether it's 2 decades from now. You do what's right for other people, you build up other people, and you're going to create an environment where people want to come with you. Like, if someone has their own entrepreneurial effort, or if they want to go work for another company and do what's best for their family, as a father, as a parent of 2, like, I think that as a business owner, if you're stuck on non-competes and non-solicits, then you're selfish. You have the wrong mentality. And, I had a boss tell me one time that, like, we were in a situation where we were fighting against this like mom and pop agency, and we lost this big deal. And he told me, he said, hey man, do you really think Gary Vee gives a shit about what you put out there? He has his own agency. He works with big brands. Do you really think what he cares? No, he still puts out that content, and he still has that type, the giving, I am here, I'm here for the underdog. I'm here for everyone. He puts that out and he doesn't care. He doesn't worry about what the small fries think. So like in my opinion, you should, as a leader, you should focus on, instead of paying an attorney a lot of money to draft up those contracts, like maybe pay your people better, maybe offer better benefits, maybe not be an asshole, and people want to stay and customers will want to stay.
I mean, listen, I don't disagree with you. That's the reason I bring those things up. The rebuttals that have came back to me, I hear them. I do hear them. And those would be like, well, we've had an instance where somebody took our largest customer and it really hurt us. And my answer is kind of similar to yours. My answer is, why'd they leave? So the relationship with that other person was so great that they had to leave with that person. Then why'd you let that person leave? Then why'd you let them go? Oh, it's because it's more money and a better deal in a different location? Match it. I mean, you don't have to be taken as like a hostage or like a terrorist situation, but and I'm not saying that's going to happen all the time, because with these larger companies, how often does one person get one super large account that's going to burn the books, right? It's these large companies that are the ones that are constantly complaining and griping about this and constantly enforcing it and using their inflated pocketbooks to beat you in court. Why not just use that inflated pocketbook to keep you there and keep the customer? Like, tomato there. But hey, man, who are we? We're just a couple guys from Tennessee that don't know what they're talking about, right? When it comes to this stuff.
Right, right. The funny thing is like most courts won't even hold those documents up, like, because they're not going to restrict commerce, and competition is good. Like, you need to provide a good and valuable service, and
I think we lost you. Let's see. Let's unmic you. Their mic isn't connected. So your mic is not connected. So we might have lost Jared's mic. We'll see if he gets back in here before this thing's over. You there?
I think I lost you there.
There you are. You're back. You made it. All right. Well, your mic went out there for a second, but hey, man, thanks for coming on here. Tell everybody where they can find you. Best places to grab you on social media, and then we'll hop off here.
yeah. So Jared DeValk, there's only two of them. One's up north, one's in the south. I'm the one in the south. And if you want to check out our agency, we are a kick-ass creative agency based in Nashville, and it's Snapshot Interactive, and that's snapshotinteractive.com.
Well, hey, dude, again, thanks for coming on the show, man. It was fun talking to you. I love interacting with you on LinkedIn. We'll continue to do it. And if anything pops up, you need to jump on here and you want to talk about it, or if you want to give me a shout, whatever, feel free to hit me up at any time, man. I really appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you, Gunnar.
All right, brother. Have a good day, man.
You too.